This year was an unusual year for trade shows, and the one that I normally attend for the last 20 plus years is the Namm Show in Anaheim, California. Only this year it fell in April and nearly overlapped the NAB show in Las Vegas. So I had to make a choice, and when it came down to it, I decided to step into completely new territory for an audio person and choose the NAB show.
It's a real bullet hole in the window.
Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlightstudio, and it's the first day of the NAB show in Las Vegas, and this is pretty overwhelming for me. I'm an audio guy, so I'm looking at things from an audio perspective, and this is all about video, but I can't wait to get inside and kind of get a crash course on everything that's new in video. So let's get inside and check it out.
This year was a highlight for the NAB show history books, as it was the show's 100th anniversary celebration. Much like the Namm Show that I'm used to attending every year at the Anaheim Convention Center in California, the NAB show is housed at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it's like a city unto itself. It's housed in 3 gigantic halls, each with their own very specific focus. And in the middle is the central lobby. This is the lifeline of the show. This is the activities center that connects all the different halls together. This is where you'll find the food court and coffee, the NAB store, and a ton of different virtual production and set displays that are really overwhelming and exciting to watch. And our first stop is going to be the North Hall. The North and Central Halls are the Create Halls, and these are where all the new technology gets debuted. So all the hardware, the software, the firmware, any new lighting, any of those kinds of things, this all takes place here in these halls, as well as the NAB main stage. So all the keynote speakers and main stage presentations all take place in the Create Halls, and our first stop is going to be Blackmagic Design. These guys have just been killing it over the last few years with their camera and firmware updates. This year debuting their 12K optical low pass filter version of the 12K cinema camera lineup, and with Featherlight being an audio related company, we are super excited to see the brand new update to DaVinci Resolve 18.5, which brings some powerful new audio related features. In addition to analyzing the audio inside your clips and making real subtitle transcriptions on the fly, DaVinci Resolve can also make edit decisions based on that information. Once the transcription is complete, you can now make edit and cut decisions directly from the text location. In addition to all the text-related workflow enhancements, they were also showing off their large console control surfaces for the Fairlight audio system inside of DaVinci Resolve. And this brings incredibly powerful and nearly DAW-like control over the audio of DaVinci Resolve. And that's a huge game changer, especially if you're coming from something like Final Cut Pro that has very limited audio control over your total mix. Featherlight offers real-time effects and sample-accurate editing tools and advanced ADR and Foley that rivals some standalone digital audio workstations. And it does it all from inside the interface of DaVinci Resolve, which means we're not round-tripping every time we want to make complex audio changes. In addition, Resolve includes over 20 Featherlight plugins that you can use for audio repair, creative sound design, and mixing. But you can also host your own VST plugins and Mac Audio Unit plugins, which is mind-blowing because it expands the possibilities for this Featherlight audio system exponentially. We finally have all the video editing power of DaVinci Resolve and all of the features of a digital audio workstation combined into one streamlined and powerful editing interface without having to constantly round trip outside the application to get our work done. With so many industry heavyweights like Avid and Amazon and Blackmagic and Adobe exhibiting here at the show, we were hoping for some Final Cut updates, but our hopes were dashed when we finally realized that, curiously, Apple decided to forego the NAB Show's 100th year anniversary celebration, even though their presence was everywhere. Next up was the Pro Art booth, which was used in a partnership with Canon's 3D lens technology and Asus's 3D screen technology, requiring no glasses or headsets that tracked your eye movement to recreate the 3D image. It was utterly mind-blowing and the best 3D image I had ever seen anywhere. The Asus technology is currently only available in a laptop-sized screen, but if this technology continues to evolve, it literally will be the future of 3D technology. It is utterly believable and the clearest I had ever seen, and without a doubt, miles ahead of the current Sony technology. Seagate booth was jumping and had all of their storage technologies on display, as well as their camera-to-cloud technology, giving users the ability to shoot directly into the cloud and have multiple users start to work on the project at the same time. A lot of this technology was present at the show this year, and it seemed like nearly everyone had some kind of cloud technology or storage technology related to the cloud on display. They also had some very cool camera and crane rigs set up for follow vehicle work, and let us take a peek inside to get an idea of what it looks like from the driver and the camera operator's point of view. The folks at the Sonic Tech booth were displaying some very cool rack mount options for the Mac Studio. The racks allowed all the access to the front panel controls in addition to the power switch on the back by the use of a clever mechanical switch, and each rack could hold 2 units side by side in a 3-space rack unit. The company from down under, Rode, had a ton of new products on display this year. New Rodecaster versions, new Wireless Go versions, as well as a new pod mic.
Amazing podcasting and content creation microphone, XLR, USB, and MFI.
In addition to firmware updates for the Rodecaster Pro 2, the brand new Rodecaster Duo gets the same ability to add Wireless Go microphones to both decks without the need of a wireless receiver. With a ton of new features up its sleeve, it still retains most of the functionality of its bigger brother, the Rodecaster Pro 2. Also brand new to the Rode lineup this year is a brand new product that's unique in the industry called the Rode X. This streamer and gaming powerhouse combines many of the features from the Procaster 2 series boards, in addition to a 4K 30 video capture card on board. Over at the Canon booth, home of the world's quietest live bands, Canon was touting the upgraded specs of the R5C cinema camera and its 8K full-frame output that just won it Netflix approval. In addition, all of Canon's cinema line cameras, as well as their mirrorless cameras, were all lined up with monitors and television feeds ready to shoot against the pre-made scenes Canon had set up, as well as the live music backdrops. This was an awesome way to compare all the different mirrorless and cinema line cameras against one another and get a real feel for what they're actually like to use in the field. DJI showed up in a big way this year, and the booth was an absolute madhouse, drawing huge crowds with all the news about the updates to the drones, as well as to the different camera systems, the 4D updates and detachable head features. But the biggest news by far was the introduction of the brand new Inspire 3 drone series. Its amazing cinema quality 8K output rivals many cinema cameras and considerably higher resolution than many of the modern-day mirrorless cameras currently available. DJI was giving live demonstrations of its amazing omnidirectional obstacle avoidance system, as well as the impressive field of view and rotation capabilities of DJI's proprietary DL lens mount system. Everything from the new RC Plus 1200 nit remote controller with the hot swappable batteries and weather sealing, to the ultra-wide FPV camera with improved low light capabilities, to the much longer transmission distances, to the 360-degree omnidirectional obstacle avoidance systems, to the 14 stops of dynamic range and dual native ISOs. Everything about this really just smacks of quality, and I think DJI really hit it out of the park on this one. And if the crowds are any indication, this is going to be a monster product for them. Over at the Airy booth, they were showing off their new Impression line of rear-mounted filters for their Signature Prime and Signature Zoom series of lenses that allow you to change the look of the lens from contemporary to vintage without having to need a complete second set of lenses for your production. And smaller companies like Sky Glass were making a big splash at this year's show by demonstrating their cloud-based virtual set design software for iPhones and iPads. This gives anyone with a green screen the ability to do complex and high-end virtual set design on an iPad or an iPhone, but have all the heavy lifting and rendering requirements be done in the cloud instead. The app is based on a 3-tier subscription model that gives you access to some incredibly sophisticated virtual set design for content creators and the like, or even production designers that want realistic previews on a budget. Over at the Sennheiser booth, they were doing live ADR and Foley recording demonstrations featuring the amazing and Emmy Award-winning Sona Kelly. Sona is very well known in the world of audio and has had an impressive career, all the way from small indie productions and animated features up to major productions like Cry Macho and Ted Lasso and DMZ. Over at the Sony booth, they were showing off some of their volumetric capture technologies as well as their brand new 27-inch spatial reality display. Similar to the Asus technology, this uses a sensor above the LCD to track the position of the head to display the images. The image quality looked good for that size of screen, but the Asus image on their system looked much more impressive. Sony was also showing off their brand new firmware updates for both the FX3 and the FX30 cinema line of cameras. This gives FX3 and FX30 owners a host of new features to play with, including DCI 4K, True 24p, which makes shutter angles like 1/48 a lot more precise, and a ton of new anamorphic options, including real-time D-squeeze playback, and they've added both cameras to the Canon Connect app for even more creative options and workflow conveniences. B&H also had a huge presence at this year's NAB show and showed up with a surprising amount of the store's massive inventory on the show floor, complete with multi-camera demos and live models for you to test each one of the camera setups with. Most of the major camera manufacturers were covered, and each one of the setups had its own monitor, allowing you to test out in real time each one of the different camera configurations. I found this to be an invaluable resource, especially if you're considering buying a newer camera and want to get a real-world view of how each one of them behaves and feels. This is a great way to compare each model and system side by side without having to rely on just reviews to make a decision about different camera manufacturers. And all the B&H staff was very helpful and extremely knowledgeable about each one of the systems, and tons of different show specials going on there as well. So a great opportunity to get some great deals on the gear you love. And right across the carpet from B&H was Condor Blue, and this place was packed, and they were debuting their brand new detachable handle that accepts an NVMe drive right in the cage handle itself. This was a great alternative to just bolting on an SSD drive somewhere on your rig. This makes it a lot more durable. This was also a popular networking spot for a lot of the well-known YouTubers like Josh Yo and Gerald Undone. I saw a ton of them that I recognized from my channels. Everywhere you looked, there was just a ton of new wireless options and affordable wireless options. At the Hollyland booth, there was several different incarnations of these incredibly small wireless setups, configurations that have an iOS receiver that plugs directly into your phone, other ones that have its standalone receiver, all with charging cases, all aimed clearly at the YouTube and content creator crowd with super affordable price points. Hollyland was also debuting a soon-to-be-released higher-end unit that comes with internal recording and 32-bit floating audio. This dual transmitter setup comes with its own charging case and has impressive specs compared to Rode and Deity and others in its own category. It'll be interesting to see if its price point can compete with those other competitive units when this is finally available for retail. Hollyland was also showing the Mars systems, the Mars M1 and M1 Plus video field monitors with video transmission up to 4K, and the new updates that are supposed to improve that lag between the devices even when hardwired. Hollyland was also displaying the Mars 300 Pro system as well as the Cosmos system for real-time app monitoring and direct live stream. Both these systems feel great in the hand, solid build quality, and both offer super low latencies. Everywhere you looked, it seemed this year at the show that weather and waterproofing was a theme. And over at the Cream Source booth with their Vortex lights on display, when they say waterproof, like they really mean waterproof. Comica had their Vimo C Ultra Compact dual channel wireless systems on display for content creators. These promise broadcast quality sound, built-in DSP for noise reduction, and a safety mode that when engaged creates two audio tracks, one 6 dB lower than the other. This is great for clipping and for background audio where unpredictable dynamics are going to be at play. Also new at Comica was the VM30 Super Cardioid wireless condenser shotgun mic. This thing was really impressive. Its receiver has a ton of different options, including a safety track like the other one that can print one 6 dB lower than the other. It can be used in wireless or wired modes. It supports 48K 24-bit recording, has auto-sensing power switches and output. It's got two low-cut filters, one at 75 Hertz and one at 150 Hertz. Multi-step gain control and dual channel safety modes. It's got a rechargeable lithium battery, advertises low latency, but the most important thing is it's an all-metal construction, supposedly with high-quality shielding. And this is one of the things that's missing most for consumer products like these, is the shielding's almost always really poor. So this promises to be a real departure from that and still offer high-quality professional features in a wireless shotgun mic.
And over here in the West Hall, if you need a break after walking all day, you can come to the AWS Free Kick Challenge and test out your goal kicking skills, both for speed and accuracy, and see if you still got it.
The West Hall is really where business gets done at the NAB show. Here, broadcast content is king, and everywhere you looked were complete end-to-end broadcast solutions. From real-time on-set content creation to immediate transmission to the cloud and back, collaborative remote team workflows were the theme of this year's show. And everywhere you looked in the West Hall were educational sessions and workshops. This isn't even including the larger pre-registered paid sessions. From an educational standpoint, it was an amazing resource, especially for someone like me coming from the audio world and kind of playing catch up where broadcast and video is concerned. The educational opportunities here were overwhelming and an outstanding resource. You could easily spend several days just attending all the different seminars and sessions available to the general public, even on a regular exhibits pass, and never even coming close to attending all of them, let alone the rest of the show.
So this has been an amazing show, almost sensory overload for me. This is my first time to NAB here in Las Vegas, so an amazing experience. And after doing so many audio-related trade shows, this has really been over the top. It's been amazing. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I appreciate it. If you learned something, or if this was even entertaining, please hit the subscription and notification bells over this and help keep the channel going. Stay safe, be creative, add something creative. We'll catch you guys in the next video.